Go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of Trinity County Commissioners Court. It's a special session. Today is Friday, September 18th, 2015, a little after 9 a.m. We're meeting in Trinity County Commissioners Courtroom at 162 West 1st Street, Trinity County Courthouse, Roseland, Texas, 75845. Now, like I said, I appreciate everyone being here, taking time and coming and seeing how county government works and wanting to be involved. At this time, we'll move into the next item of business, which is conduct a public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2016 Trinity County budget. I have some public participation forms. I'll just go in the order I received them. Miss Laura Vanchek, right off the bat, huh?
Do I have to come up there, or can I?
Yes, ma'am, if you would, please, when you get up here to this microphone.
Why don't I get my day off started?
You want Mr. Joe Wayne to go first?
Well, it would take him an hour to get up here. So. Do I just start talking?
Yes.
I've never been here before, and I apologize for that. As a citizen, I probably should have been here on more occasions, as we all should. I just have a question. I understand that our county has a bit of debt for our acquisition of the annex across the street and the remodeling of the courthouse. And I would just like to know, are we considering maybe paying that debt down a little quicker, a little faster with some of our additional tax money? That's my question.
As far as I'm speaking for myself, I would, want to pay it down quicker. And we're.
What is our total amount of indebtedness regarding those two items? I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head, and the auditor's not here.
Okay, all right.
But I know, I can tell you, according to the budget, what we have slated to pay on it this year is $221,563.
But if we have extra funds, wouldn't it be nice to get out of debt?
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Okay,
And we're actually collecting more on the debt rate this year than we need to fund that $221,000. So we're kind of building a reserve to pay it off early. The plan we're on that.
Okay. Did I ask like I was supposed to?
Thank you, Ms. Manchester. Anybody else want to address the public on that issue?
That's been my whole idea since I got here, is get this county paid out of debt. You can't do that when you're giving all these raises and spending the money in that field. Personally, I would have liked to seen us drop this tax rate a couple of pennies and pay some on the debt. We gave a 3% raise last year to all employees from top to bottom. But didn't seem like that was a pleasure of the court, so here we are.
Up next, Mr. Joe Wayne Bonacek. Good morning.
Good morning. Most all of you know me. I'm Joe Wayne Vanchek from Trinity. Before I start fussing about the budget, I would like to comment. The courthouse looks great. The inside is clean as a pin. Really
Appreciate that.
It's kept.
The Historical Commission done a great job. Getting it back in.
Inside and out, it's really neat looking and clean.
Appreciate it.
Okay, what motivated me to get over here, I had the old budgets that you was going to raise the sheriff $20,000.
Yes, sir.
That made me get off my butt and get over here. Then I get over here and it's $10,000. Well, it should be $5,000 in my opinion. All the other sheriffs around the county are not making $45,000. And we need to, we're going to pay our way more than the surrounding counties pay theirs. So, and also the additional money y'all got, I'm like, my wife, I'd like to see it paid, instead of raises, pay down the debt. Because you got to sustain these raises year after year. Well, down the road, when you don't have that money, y'all gonna come right back to us landowners for more taxes. And everybody says I'm rich, because I got a lot of land. But all we have is land, we don't have a lot of money. And my mother died a few years ago, at 101 years old, and from about 90 years old till she passed away, we'd sell some cattle or sell some timber. And I'd say, Mother, what you gonna do with this money? Oh, put it in the bank. We got to pay them taxes. She worried 12 months a year about her taxes. And, you know, and I worry about it too, because, like I say, we have a lot of land, we don't have a lot of money to pay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you driving over. Next, Mr. Lynn Hill. Oh, there you go.
Oh, right. I'm Lynn Hill, Cheetah, Texas. I wasn't going to say anything about the debt courthouse and the building, but since it's come up, I was here against borrowing that money those years ago. Mr. Worship, Mr. Bell, I think was the only ones on the court at that time, because of the fact that Mr. Bonachek, even at that time, I realized that paying back $1.6 million was going to be a burden on some of us. So it's there now, so don't worry about it. Should have worried about it back then. Adding $700,000 to it for the annex, that had helped a whole lot either. But that wasn't what I come to ask you about today. I don't know how long I've got, but to give some credits to my ability to observe. My grandpa Hill had an office right here. I think it could probably come in on that beam. Last county surveyor in Trinity County. I was in that hallway right there in 1963 when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So I've been here a while. I haven't been up here appealing to you folks. I don't mean to offend any of you. But I do think it's an offense to our sheriff. And I'm sure that on the opposite side of Mr. Bonachek, I think it's an offense to our sheriff. For him working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on call, going out and facing people that could do physical, bodily harm in his life, in fact. And you guys making more than he. I was at a domino game at Carlisle last night, so I just made a what do you call it, a survey, poll. Of course, there were most of us, you know, senior citizens, so it's a one-sided poll. I asked them what they thought, and they couldn't believe. They couldn't believe that you guys making more than the sheriff. So I don't think that you intentionally do that, but I'll tell you what it looks like from our side, outside. It looks bad. It looks bad on your part. I hope you know that sheriff could make a whole lot more than the $20,000 by doing nothing. In fact, John F. Kennedy used the quote, "For evil to prevail, good men must just do nothing." That's all he's got to do to make 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. I don't think he would do that. But for my part, and I hope for your part, you would raise him up at least to what you're doing, so that he would have confidence in us, believing that we believe in him. And I know we can find the money, because we found the money to do other things. I haven't been successful in appealing to y'all before, but I really hope that you'll think about what you're doing. These 30-something people agreed, and I'm not going to tell you where they said to get the money from, but that would have been. But They said there's 30-something votes right here. So think about it, guys. Y'all work for us. We'll have a chance here before long to make a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Next one I have is for Bill Bond. Mr. Bond.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I oppose a 28% increase for any elected official for fulfilling his campaign promises. I think everyone realizes that most all, if not all, county employees are undercompensated for their efforts as they look forward. And it's been suggested that we take one county department at a time and elevate them and bring them up to where people think they ought to be. I disagree with that approach. I think we ought to give every county department, when we can afford to, a small portion and try to elevate them equally so that everybody gets a little bit better compensation for the efforts that's put forward. And before the court votes on this budget, I want you to consider that this is not a one-time expenditure. This is a budget obligation from the time you approve that budget forward.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Anybody else wishing that, I don't have any more forms, but if anybody else wishing to speak in public forum, you can fill out a form and have your say. Nobody else? All right, at this time, we will close the public hearing. We move into our next item of business, which is discuss an act pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Section 152.014A2 and 152.015A, B, C, and D on the selection of a salary grievance committee. Mr. Bell, do you can inform the court how we need to go about this?
You got that,
Ah, okay.
and then you draw the names out, you get the number.
Numbers.
Huh?
Numbers, you said?
Yeah, we get the right number.
Ah,
Also, probably need to draw some alternates too, since we're doing it so late in time. That's the hat or container is the,
Is it at 9 for the grievance committee?
no, 9 public members when you have the elected officials. I think it's 13. Wouldn't hurt to pull out 15 and do them one in order.
Well, there's only 12 grand jury members
No,
from last year.
there were 24 grand jury members from
That's
last
not the list.
year. We had 2 grand juries last year, 12 each one.
I only got a list of 13, so we'll have to get that other list.
Okay, we'll put that off the list. Skip over to the right.
whoa, okay.
Well, let me ask you a question, Joe. Is this supposed to be done every year?
The law doesn't require us to do it every year. It allows us to do it every year. But anyway, you just published the compensation for the elected officials. And they have a right to protest their compensation, saying they're not getting enough. And you've got to do, if we don't, they have a certain number of days to do it. If we wait till the time's run out, we won't have enough time to do what we need to do.
Well, this is my third budget, and this is the first time I've ever seen this done.
Earlier, much earlier than the year before, I'm not sure.
No, sir, you didn't do it since I've been sitting. I've never seen this done.
We used to do it on January of every year.
And we need to get back to that. So we'll pass over that and come back to it. We'll move down to item 4, which is discuss an act on proposed tax rate for the fiscal year 2016. And we just kind of discussed this in that last budget workshop, where we want our tax rate to be when we act on a proposed tax rate to fund the budget. know we'll talk about staying at 65. If that's the way you record or not.
We'll have to stay at 65 to fund this budget, am I right or wrong?
To fund the budget and have a little bit in reserve, yes. Which would,
How much you got in reserve now?
almost 55,000. I'd like to, and I think that's the agreement of the court, we'd like to build a reserve fund if we could. $55,000 in reserve. Actually, we had to go up $55,000 on insurance, which we had no control over that, really.
So Judge, early on in the workshops, I know I mentioned the fact that this would be a perfect year. I've sat up here, like Mr. Hill said, over the years and had been part of some tax increases, and our effective rate did come in at lower than our current rate. And one, I know in one of the workshops I mentioned that we could probably have the luxury of going down a penny or two on our taxes this year. And then I think a few days later, we was all over there one Saturday at a political rally, and the gentleman that was leading that rally had a show of hands of people who thought it would be. The question was, should we go down on the taxes or pay on the debt, which is basically about the same. And nobody, I think my mother was there, and she was the only one raised her hand up to say, "Don't go down on the taxes." Because you was there with her, really. And I kind of got, I don't know, mixed feelings about that. I mean, that wanted even asked the treasurer, he was there, he knew what the percentage was would be for the homeowner, that they would get the dollar figure back, which that's really not fair, because you got to look at the whole pot, not just the homeowner, whoever pays the tax. But I guess what I'm saying, the consensus of that crowd that day, and it depends on what crowd you're in, I guess, was that no, they would rather see us build a reserve or pay down on the debt than they would see the tax rate. That was kind of, and I think there were some people in that crowd that day that had been up here in the past that was on us pretty hard about raising the taxes, and they didn't raise their hand to lower the taxes, and that kind of amazed me a little bit that day in that crowd. There was probably about 100 people there that day.
It's all according to how it was presented too, as you well know.
Well, as was mentioned in the public hearing, the folks have an issue with the debt we have, and if we're going to continue to work on paying that debt down, I feel that we're going to have to stay with the tax rate for that. It's not raising the taxes, we're staying at that 65.
We hadn't had an increase, and we're not having one this year on the tax rate. And I guess it's been, what, 6 years
The year before I took office, yes, sir.
since we had to increase the tax rate.
Any other feelings on that? Nobody else has anything else? I'll make a motion that we propose a tax rate of 65 cents.
We're in this agenda item. If you do not go down to the effective tax rate, you have to have 2 public hearings.
Correct. We had a public hearing slated for the 22nd and 25th.
Unfortunately, I don't know if 22nd would be a valid hearing, because the newspaper came out yesterday officially and hit the mailboxes and the newsstands Wednesday. And you can use the mailbox. That is 16th. 7 days after the 16th is the 23rd. Wouldn't hurt to have a hearing on the 22nd. And since we're here today, probably should set the second hearing on the 25th as the plan, and the third hearing on the 28th. But the law says you have to have 7 days of notice and no less than 3 days after, 3 days later. after the first year. So you sit one, you can do the one on the 22nd, because it don't hurt before input from the public.
Most definitely.
And you have another one on the 25th, and you should have a hearing on the 28th, and you have your regular commissioners court meeting.
Okay.
And next item on the agenda, is we need to have an official vote on the tax rate published on the website today. If you can get that done.
I thought the official vote was done when you adopt the tax rate.
Official votes are just made a motion.
Okay. For a proposed tax rate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the state prescribes the exact form you have to use.
Okay.
And we can post that on the website today.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is your motion to do all that?
Yes, sir.
What's the dates on that, Drew?
The 22nd, the 25th, and the 28th. The 22nd, 25th, we already have posted for public hearings, and then we have one on the 28th, which is our regular commissioner's court day.
9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
We've gone round and round on this budget for several weeks now, maybe months. We seem to go from one pillar to the next post in determining what we want to do. There's a motion on the floor to leave the tax rate at 0.65. Did you say we can or cannot address that motion?
Yes, but as long as you fill in all the other little gaps I said you had to do.
As long as what?
Fill in the gaps, setting the hearings, and posting the notice.
And the judge's
Said you.
motion included all of that. And I would second that motion.
Okay. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Let the record show, are we going to do a record vote on?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, if everybody said aye, then
Okay, we have unanimously. Okay.
record it, say aye.
Gotcha. We have a unanimous vote to stay with tax rate of 65 and have those hearings as you prescribed. Now back to item 3.
Judge, we're having trouble, we may have to review this next week when you have your public hearing.
Okay.
The one grand jury was before Krista took office, and we like that.
Okay. You got your hand jury sitting over there, right?
Yeah, but we can't use them, this is from the previous step. So,
2014.
Okay. So we'll table that item and bring it back up on the 22nd?
yeah, you may not get any protest, but they will pass it on.
Nobody has anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I'm gonna say this. I'm going along with this tax rate this year. I'm gonna go along with this budget this year. But I promise you that I will never, as long as I sit here, and I might only be here one more year, that I will not approve another one the way this budget session was handled. I feel like I'm entitled to every bit of the documentation of the county's debt, what the elected officials are asking for, and this year the judge has refused to let me have it. I have asked through the Open Records Act, I still haven't got it, and I will not be a part of it next year if you handle this budget session like you did this year. I will not be for it whatsoever.
Okay. Anybody else?
One quick thing, it was stated in the public hearing, and I'm not arguing at all with anything that was said in the public hearing. It's important that we hear what we heard. But there was a comment made, I believe, that there's no sheriff in adjoining counties that's paid as much as our sheriff is proposed to be paid at a $45,000 rate. And a couple of sessions ago, I put together a survey from the Texas Association of Counties, and I just want to remind those folks here on what the facts are. Again, not arguing, just presenting the facts. The current salary for our sheriff is $35,000. Pardon me. The proposed salary is $45,000. In Houston County, the sheriff is paid $46,322, plus another $1,824 as a special supplement, whatever that's defined as, I don't know. But that was in the survey done of 2014 salaries by the Texas Association of Counties. Polk County Sheriff is paid $48,805, and he gets a travel allowance of $20,048. San Jacinto appears to be the only neighboring county where the sheriff is paid less than we propose to pay our sheriff, and he's paid they are paid $41,856 per year. In Walker County, much bigger county, granted much bigger tax base, the sheriff is paid $69,764. In neighboring Angelina County, also much bigger, the sheriff is paid $56,696. So I just want to make sure the record's clear on what our neighboring sheriffs are paid.
Well, I want to remind Commissioner Precinct 2 that a year ago, the sheriff said the tax, that my compensation at a certain rate is $10,000 more than I get. So I don't know how reliable that information is.
You don't have what?
I don't know how reliable CAC information is. But, yeah, I think you're right on the compensation they all sheriff in Houston County gets, because I heard somebody else that worked there.
The only county that he named off that's even compatible to us, like he said, San Jacinto County. And they have a jail that they operate, a big jail.
Yeah.
So,
They get a lot more tax base.
Yeah, but they got 159.
Well, that survey that I discussed also included a comparison of similar sized counties. Granted, some are out west where there's lots of oil revenue and so on. But just for an example, the similar sized counties, Andrews County, $76,854 for their sheriff. Jackson County, 14,000 population, kind of like ours, $52,000. Madison County, $46,631, plus a $3,000 travel allowance. Nolan County, population 15,000, $53,450. Pecos County down south probably doesn't relate economically, but 15,619 population, they pay the sheriff $60,000. In Zapata County, 14,200 in population, the sheriff paid $50,375. So we're talking about looking at a market value, if you will, of that position, as we should do in a lot of other key positions. It looks like our sheriff is way underpaid. Those are the facts.
Change in schedule. We have the name, so we can go back to item 3 and take care of that now. So back to item 3, we never get officially adjourned. Discuss an act pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Section 152.014 and 152.015 on the selection of a salary grievance committee. We'll draw names out of a hat, or a bucket, I should say.
How many are we supposed to draw?
I said you draw 12 official ones and 3 alternates.
you have 2 years there, two.
There's 24.
Oh, they're all in one cup, decided to be.
Now this is.
Okay. We let a member of the public draw since we're all elected officials, it doesn't make a difference.
There, you can do no difference, but if you want to let some regular person draw, you can.
Sharon, you want to draw?
She's not regular, she's excellent for it.
There's 2, is that right? You can, yeah, that's fine. Do we need to announce them to the public?
Yeah.
Oh, she really wanted to do it right there.
Y'all need them all? You want somebody else to do it? Three more for alternates.
Janice Rice, Don Hill, Deborah Case, Margarita Trevino, Terry Waller, Wayne Huffman, Bill Raspberry, John Ivy, Kay Smith, Tamika English, Doug Smith, Jasper Callahan, Andrea Music, Danny Adams, and Deborah Snowden.
Okay.
The last three that I called will be the alternates.
Need a motion to accept those names for the salary grievance committee.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Washington, to accept the names that have been drawn to be placed on the salary grievance committee. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Washington, second by Commissioner Smith, to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.